Hello, everybody. You are listening to the Startup Secrets for Entrepreneurs, and I am your host, Shelby Oleschlager. My mission here is to help entrepreneurs make a difference and navigate the messy world of startup or relaunch. Join me today where we dig deep with our guests to give you the best concepts and strategies to fast track your business. Today, our special guest is Karen Ford. So thank you so much, Karen, for joining us. And to get started, please give us a little bit of information about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I am a master financial coach. I have been doing this for several years. I'm actually a registered nurse, but I haven't practiced as a nurse for several years. And that is because I had a friend of mine tell me, Karen, you're really good with numbers. You're really great with math. I think you ought to get some further training and become a financial coach. You can help a lot of people. So I did, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I know some of the listeners or viewers are probably thinking, how did you go from a nurse to being a master financial coach? But I look at it the same way. I'm helping people. As a nurse, Shelby, I helped people get healthy physically, but as a master financial coach, I'm helping people get healthy financially. And actually, the two go together because I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people around the world right now are feeling the pinch, the crunch of money, the feeling they're hurt, the hurt on it. Maybe they're not getting to do the things they once got to do. Maybe they're feeling their purse strings get a little tighter, and that can cause stress. And stress can cause high blood pressure. It can cause increased cholesterol. You can have migraines. I mean, lots and lots of things can happen to you physically because of stress. So I feel like if I'm helping people take control of their money, then ultimately they're going to get healthier physically because they're not going to have that stress.
Exactly. It's all one big thing, right? So if you can help
That's
them
so
one way,
true.
going to trickle down to other aspects. So within your own coaching business, what are the things that you're really trying to teach these people to get better with their money?
Well, the number one way for people to get control of their money is the word budget. And I know that some folks think, that's a 4-letter word, but it's really not. A budget is you telling your money what you want it to do instead of wondering where it went. Because if you don't budget, I mean, how many times have you had money in your wallet at the beginning of the week, and at the end of the week, you look in your wallet and think, hey, what happened to all that money that was in my wallet? Well, chances are you're probably not budgeting, because a person who budgets knows exactly where their money is going. So I teach people and train people how to properly budget. I also teach people how to get out of debt, especially now. I mean, so many people have credit card debt. They have maybe they have a monthly payment on furniture or a car payment or student loans or what have you. People have debt. And so I teach them a very simple way to demolish that debt. And then the fun part really is teaching people how to build wealth. There's various ways to invest and to make your money grow and work for you instead of you always working for your money.
Right. That makes so much sense. So as far as, let's say, someone that's in debt, what are a few key principles that you'd give them to help them get out of debt so that they can eventually start to actually go up and build that wealth?
Absolutely. Well, first, you can't borrow your way out of debt. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, hey, I'm going to go take out a loan and pay off all my debts. And I say, oh, you're going to take out a loan and pay off all your debts, because you can't borrow your way out of debt. It just doesn't work. It's like a cat chasing its tail. It's going nowhere. So you're just trading all of these debts for this other debt. And so you just moved it around. It's like a shell game. So stop borrowing money and stop using the credit cards if you want to get out of debt, because you can't borrow your way out of debt. The second thing I teach is the debt snowball approach, where you list all of your debts from smallest to largest, and you tackle, of course, you make all of your minimum payments each month, but the very first debt that you have, let's say the balance is $100 and your payment is $50 a month. Well, in 2 months, that debt is gone, right? It's only $100. So in 2 months, it's gone. Well, instead of pocketing that $50 a month now, because you don't have to pay that credit card off, it's already paid off. Instead of pocketing it or spending it, now you're going to take that $50 and you're going to apply it to the next debt along with its minimum payment. So let's say the next debt is another credit card and that payment is $100 a month. Where you're going to add that 50 to it. Now you're going to pay $150 a month until that debt is gone, so forth and so on. You don't pocket it, you don't spend it, you apply it to the next debt along with its minimum payment. And the reason that we do that is because we're creatures of habit, and we're creatures that like fast-paced things, right? We've got drive-through fast food, we've got drive-through banking, we've got drive-through. You can order something on Amazon and it be at your doorstep the next day. So we want things quick. Well, if you don't see something working for you, the chances of you sticking with that plan are slim to none. But once you get that first debt paid off and you see, hey, this is working, now you're going to want to stick with the plan. So we want to get a quick win under your belt so that you stick with it. That's why we do that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Do you find like with some of the people that you help that they have a money mindset block? And if so, what is it?
Well, some people, maybe their grandparents didn't have money or their parents didn't have money. And so they think they are to live a life, they're destined to live a life with no money. And that is not true. You can have your best life and you can make it happen. Now, I'm not going to say that it's easy, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight. But if you want something and you can envision it and you can dream it, then you can do it. It's just a matter of putting your feet to it. You've got to put the elbow grease to it. You can't just sit in your couch or on your chair and think, well, this is going to, hopefully this is going to happen, because hope isn't going to get it. You've got to put some feet to it. You've got to put your hands to it to make it happen.
For sure. So now going a little bit in your own business, from going from a nurse to this, where you're an entrepreneur, what was that transition like, and how was it starting your own business, building clients?
Well, it was difficult in the beginning. It was challenging because people didn't know really who I was. I mean, I went from nursing to a master financial coach. So it was a lot of advertising, a lot of utilizing social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it. You just put it out there, and I give away a lot of free things. I have a YouTube channel, so I put, a quick video on there, always teaching, always putting things out there for free, because if you put things out there for free, people are apt to listen to you, right? If they don't know who you are and you charge, well, they're probably not going to pay because they don't know who you are. But as you put out some of those free things and some teaching tips, that kind of thing, things that they can actually utilize, then when you put something out there, whether it's a video, whether it's an article, whether it's a seminar or a webinar or whatever it is, they're more apt to now buy and pay for it because now they know they've got that connection with you. So that was one thing that was a little bit challenging in the beginning, but now people are discovering who I am. I did a lot of free seminars in the beginning before I started charging. And then I asked people to give me reviews, because reviews are powerful, especially on Google. I mean, you get people to write a review for you on Google, then it puts you up in that search engine. And people are getting to discover you and know you and find out what other people thought of you, which is hopefully always good. So, when you put that out there, then your name becomes something more than just your name. Now you have created some type of image for people to, connect with. They know that other people have connected with you and that you're not a fly by night, you're not going to take their money and then not provide what they paid you for. So, and then writing books, that's another great way. I've written 4 books, and, you put that out there with your website and ways to connect. Now they know, you're really legitimate. So a lot of advertising, putting out some free things in the beginning is what started off the true entrepreneurship in my own life. Yeah.
That's awesome. I did want to touch on the book, so let's go there. Tell us a little bit about your book here. It's The Money Matters. So congrats on writing 4. That is an accomplishment.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about that experience and what that's done for your business.
Well, first of all, I don't like to write, so it's actually work for me. Some people are very literary and they can just sit and write for hours or 20 minutes at a time and do that, 5, 6, 7 times a day. I it's work for me. I don't, it's tedious. So it was a real labor of love to write, let me just tell you. But the Money Matters book, that encapsulates everything about money. So if you want to learn how to budget, if you want to learn the principles of demolishing debt, the 5 steps to wealth building, and does it really matter what you think regarding money? That's a chapter all within itself, because it's so very important that you have the right thinking process when it comes to money, especially if you want to build wealth, because thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, and habits become a way of life. So if you're always saying, well, I'll never get out of debt, I'll never get out of debt, I'll never get out of debt, guess what? You're never going to get out of debt because you keep saying it. And everything within your being is going to move you in that direction. So instead of saying that, what you want to do is you want to think differently and even create a vision board or put it on your refrigerator. I mean, most of us go to the refrigerator several times a day, put on there, I'm out of debt, I'm a wealth builder. Put positive reinforcement of what you want instead of what you presently have. Because the more that you think, hey, I'm a wealth builder, I'm out of debt, it's easy for me to make money, it's easy for me to build wealth, everything within your being is going to move you in that direction. And then you're actually going to envision it, and then you're actually going to do it. So that's a chapter on all in itself. So that book is not a hard read. You can probably read that book within an hour and a half, but it's packed full of principles and tips. Lots of teaching in that book.
Oh, perfect. Good to know. I might have to pick myself a copy up. So when you're writing this book, or just when you're doing your coaching or any speaking, do you have a certain type of client that you're after? Like, do you want to focus on businesses or just anyone that's looking to get out of debt? And
anyone who wants to get out of debt, whether it's individual or whether it's, maybe you have your own company and maybe your company is in debt, your business is in debt. I've coached people individually, married couples, as well as folks who have a business that's in debt. I mean, I coached a couple one time that had over 800, now we're in the USA, over $800,000 in debt. That's a lot of debt. That's a lot of debt. I've coached a couple who had over 86 credit cards. And I know that's really hard to wrap your brain around, but that's 86 credit cards. And every one of those credit cards had a balance. None of them were at zero. So I've coached a wide array of people with varying debts and varying situations. And that's something else I want to say. It's not cookie cutter coaching, because the way I coach you would be different than how I coach somebody else, because everyone's situation is different. Your finances are different. Your income is different. Your debt is different. Your dreams are different. So everything is going to be different. Yes, there may be some principles that I'll say with every person I coach, but it's not cookie cutter coaching, because every person has their own unique financial situation. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And just the one-on-one aspect is probably super valuable. So is that your main business model as far as coaching? You do mostly one-on-ones?
I do one-on-ones. I do mostly one-on-ones, but then I also hold seminars, financial freedom seminars. So everything that I'm talking about right now would be in a 2-hour seminar. And then if someone is interested in real estate investment, which I love, that turns into a 4-hour seminar, because that's whether you want to buy and sell, you want to buy and rent. We talk about leases. Where do you buy? How do you buy? Who do you buy from? Auctions, foreclosures, the whole 9 yards. So real estate investing is a great moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk a little bit more about that? How did you get into real estate investing?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a passion of mine as well. Several years ago, someone had told me that there was going to be a state auditor auction, and I had dabbled in some rentals, but never really took it any further than that. And uh, I'm a type A personality, so I find it very exciting to hold a number up and win. So win that bid.
Yeah.
So I actually purchased a property that particular day for $10, sight unseen. I knew the area in which it was. But I thought, well, I'm excited I got it, but that should have been clue number one to me that nobody else bid against me. So I got the deed in the mail. There's a whole process in that, got the deed and discovered this particular property was a meth house. So there was a big sign, do not enter. This was a meth house. And I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do with you? And I thought, well, nobody can live in it. So I put it for sale on Facebook. I was very forthcoming and said this was a meth house. You cannot live in it. You have to remove it or tear it down, but you're buying the land with it. This is what I'm selling it for. And I actually sold it. And I didn't have to move it. I didn't have to do anything. The buyer knew that's what they were in for, and I made a profit. But I learned from that particular adventure that always make sure you know where the properties are and you set your eyes on them before you start bidding. And so I do a lot of investigating and looking now before I bid. But that's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun, and it's easy, if you know where you want to buy and who are you going to market it to, and how are you going to market it? Yeah.
Was that kind of a natural progression of going from helping people with their finances to now helping them with real estate investment? Like, how did you build that authority to say, hey, I now know how to do this. Let me help you with this as well.
Well, I have several Facebook pages. I have one for each of my businesses. I've got 3 businesses, all 3. Well, no, that's wrong. I have 4 businesses, excuse me. One of them is for the financial coaching. The other 3 are real estate. So people can see that on social media. And so when I coach not just with real estate investing, if they want to become a wealth builder. I say, there's a wide array of ways to build wealth. You can invest in the stock market. You can put your money in a 401k. You can do IRAs. You can do a wide array of ways of investing. And then there's also real estate investing. Do any of those, do you want to know about all of those? What do you want to know? Some people want to know all of it. And so I'll sit and I'll teach and I'll coach in every one of those areas. So I don't actually swing them towards real estate investing, but I go through all of those ways of investing. And then it's up to them what they're comfortable with,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's is it a hard juggle to say that you have 4 businesses and managing the different clients within that?
No, I wouldn't say it's hard to juggle. It's just busy.
Yeah.
It's just busy.
Fair enough. Yeah. So now that you've been building all this, I'm curious, what is the next step? What would you say your next year looks like as far as trying to grow these multiple businesses?
I would say I'm probably going to step it up a notch more so, more seminars, more webinars, constantly on social media, asking for Google reviews, because that pops you up in the search engine. Everything that I've been doing, only more. I would have to say everything I'm doing, but more. That's what that's going to look like.
So for anyone listening, I'm curious as well, what are the type of obstacles now that you have to face? I guess, everyone's scaling, there's always things that come up. So for you, what would you say some of like the roadblocks or struggles would be for you to get to that stage?
To what stage?
Like to do everything you're doing, but more. Is there anything that's going to come up that's going to be a struggle?
Probably time, just making sure that you have the blocks of time to do it. So I have I won't say a tight schedule, but I make sure I have a very good calendar. So on Mondays, I do this. On Tuesdays, I do this. And sticking with the plan. So it's not willy-nilly, oh no, and let a week go by and I haven't done anything. So very strategic. On Mondays, this is what you do. On Tuesday, this is what you do. And having a plan in place. Because, if you don't have a plan, people who fail to plan to fail. I'm quoting, I think, John Maxwell in that. So if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. People who plan are much more apt to produce, is if you plan.
Yeah. It's such a powerful statement. I definitely been learning the power of planning myself, and it does make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the other things, like when you're coaching these people, that you notice that maybe they do, or one like common thing that maybe is stopping them from getting out of debt or building that wealth? What would you say the one thing that you see quite a lot is?
Some people don't want to change. And I use that word cautiously. Because I'd rather use the word adjust, because people don't like to change, but they're willing to adjust. Some people, as a coach, I can tell people this is what you do. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. But if I do that, chances are they may not do it, because we don't like to be told what to do. But if I coach them and ask them questions, and I say, okay, this is what I'm noticing. You're going out to eat so many times every month, and it's costing you this amount of money every single month. And sometimes people don't realize how much they're spending in a particular area until it's another set of eyes that see it. And then I'll say, are you willing to adjust that area? Some people are not willing to make any changes in their finances. They want to continue to go out to eat. They want to continue to shop every Friday. They want to continue to do whatever it is they're doing. And that makes it a little challenging, because if your income, if your salary, and you don't have the option, even working overtime, to make extra money, then that's all I have to work with. So if that's all I have to work with, then we have to make, some compromise here with the amount of money you're spending if you're wanting to get out of debt. So that would have to be one of the challenges I, encounter at times. But most of the time, I would have to say the people are willing to make adjustments, as long as they say, well, I'm not willing to adjust the eating out, but I am willing to adjust my latte every day. Okay, whatever that is. So, and that's okay. I would rather have the person say, I'm not going to change this part. I'd rather have them be truthful with me on that, instead of telling me they will and then they don't. So if they're not willing to make an adjustment in a particular area, then I know what I'm dealing with. Now I have to look at a different area for them to adjust. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it kind of just sounds like they're doing one small adjustment. Hopefully that I'm assuming will kind of snowball into more bigger adjustments.
Yes. As they see that it's working. Yes.
Yeah. That kind of is like what you said earlier, when they actually see that change of like, oh, I just like got rid of this debt, and then they're going to be more inclined to keep going down there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So back a little bit to the real estate, I'm curious, like, I guess the whole process a little, if you could break it down, like, I'm really curious to see like how you're able to help these people. Like, are you buying the properties with them, walking them through the whole experience of how they're able to flip it for an income or profit?
Well, it depends on what they want to do.
Right.
And it also depends on how much money they have. I mean, how much free cash do they have? So I go over you can just buy the property, and then you can just, clear it out, clean it up a little bit, and sell it and make a profit. Mm-hmm. Okay. You don't have to have a lot of money to do that. Or you can buy the property and you can put some money in it and you could flip it. Now you got to have more money, to do that. Or you can make it a rental so that you have a cash flow each and every month. again, you have to have some extra cash because you're going to have to fix it up to become a rental. But whether you want to flip, whether you want to rent, whether you just want to buy and sell, you have to have some money. So if you have a little bit of money, then I am more apt and more inclined to tell you, then probably what you want to do is you want to buy, clean it up a little bit, and then sell it to someone else for, you're going to make a profit. It's going to be a low enough price for them where they can flip it. But as you do that a few times, and you're going to have more money in your bank so that you in turn can buy a property and make it into a rental, or buy a property and flip it. So it all depends on how much money they have and what their comfort level is as well. So, I'll walk them through it and I'll go over each of those steps. And then we also have to talk about, where are you going to buy? Because you don't want to buy in an area that's run down and all of the houses in the area are empty, because then nobody's going to want to buy the property from you if everybody in the neighborhood's house is empty. So you almost have to be a sleuth to search out and find those properties, whether there's foreclosures or what have you. So, yeah.
That makes sense. Sounds like quite an interesting process.
It is.
Yeah, one of my final questions is, so I love this, like the whole concept and everything. Now, for your own business, if there's someone that, let's say, is doing something similar, what advice would you have for them to start attracting these type of clients?
Oh, another financial coach like me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or just
I
how
would
are you
say,
able to do it? Yeah.
oh, I would say get yourself out on social media, be forthcoming with exactly what is it that you provide. What are you going to teach that person? What are they going to walk away with? So put it out on social media. Also, provide some free information, whether it's on a YouTube video, whether it's on Facebook. Provide some different tips that people can walk away with. Don't write a book, on Facebook, because people scroll through Facebook quickly. Write 2 or 3 sentences for your quick tip of the day, quick tip Tuesday or whatever. Financial Friday, whatever it is, cash flow Sunday. Do something on the same day each week, and even do a live video, but make it short and sweet, because people a lot of times don't want to jump on there and listen to a person for 20 minutes. They want to jump on there, get the information, and jump off. So provide some free information, get yourself out on social media, and ask your friends to start. And if you create a business page, start inviting some of your friends and asking them to share it, because not all of us have the same friends. Share it, ask them to share your page. And then it's going to grow more quickly. Yeah.
Perfect. So for anyone listening that would like to learn more from you, where can they find you and your books, and how?
Absolutely. You can go to KarenFord.org. All of my books are on there, as well as some other products. But all of my books are also on Amazon in paperback as well as Kindle. So you can get them quickly.
Perfect. Yeah. Hopefully people will reach out and connect and learn how to get out of debt and start building wealth.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a great conversation. And hopefully everyone got something out of it.
Thank you.